Greetings, fellow Ambazonians. This is Capo Daniel, and this is my Christmas message post-Christmas to all the Ambazonian people. Today, na 26th day for Boxing Day. It can finish around evening time. That means my message go reach una with people that are already sleep for ground zero. I've been the chairman for the Ambazonian People's Rights Advocative Platform, the commander-in-chief of the Ambazonian Dark Forces. That means the forces the way they operate in obscurity as guerrilla fighter them, where they get a very wide network within our community and within other forces them for Ambazonia. This message at one game for now, it be very, very important. So make sure so you listen the message from the beginning to the end. My fellow Ambazonians, abi una pikin, una know me how the struggle is start. From day one, before Mancho BBC one carry coffin, put them for roadway na officially launched the public demonstration for the grievances them way Harmony Popka, it be done carry and for heart. Now God be make it start this struggle. It don't reach for the place where it did today. From the beginning up to now, we don't work out together this road. And I go tell now very important facts. Some things in the way it no be being necessary for we for put them for outside, but it be very necessary because the rhetoric will get them for our struggle now. It then become part of our diplomatic consideration. The Ambazonian war, since it be start, it will be very obvious for everybody. So will be aggrieved, will be cheated, will be dehumanized by the Cameroon state. Will get inside a war where no be war will be one time. But na war where Paul be one time. Because this war it will be important for ye for stay for power. So if force women will enter for inside war and will enter for this war with way he help na Paul bia and no go lie una. But if way it will be necessary and it will be important, will not be get choice but for fight. And the way the war it don't go, I fit assure all Ambazonians, I don't be the ambassador for Seseko for Middle East and Asia. I don't shoot down for a cabinet, enter for some meeting then for a cabinet, so that I decide to I go just shoot down me from my side before I do one come up for IG. I've been one of the founding member them for IG. Now we draw the constitution for IG. Now we create IG. That way they will make Sako make it represent Seseko. Will be one. I be the second activist I go say for invite you for talk for interview you for engage you publicly for interview you privately and the people waiting there around you for know way to way they think, way to way be the plan for do and I be introduce it to for the Ambazonian people. I don't work with all man. I don't work with Ayabacho. Work with the ADF. Work with all the general them for ground, one-on-one or on a group basis, and know our capacity. I don't travel far and near, represent our struggle in the highest level. Inside our first official meeting, we will get them face-to-face with La Republique. I led a delegation of the most influential organization at that table. During that conversation, I be removed, put for room, one-on-one, for talk about this struggle in a very unique way. I go inform all Ambazonian them because it be necessary for me for inform una and for engage the public on this issue. We for Ambazonia wouldn't fail for tap the energy where our population is game, wouldn't fail for translate that energy and that enthusiasm for a win. From the time of Seseko, we don't get that possibility for win this war. Unfortunately, La Republique then kidnap ye. Unfortunately, the brother then way God began for me then work with ye. They no work with ye, then work against ye. That infighting, it will make up enough for fit do it to way if for fit do one properly. Time where the Seseko go, it will be moment for we for come together. But that same Judaism, where they be say Seseko, then two then sell themselves, would exhaust all diplomatic avenue for we forget independence immediately during this war. from African Union, European Union, to the Americans, the Canadians, and everybody. They don't talk for we face to face. No be so they talk with the doubt way to way the international community. They don't talk for we. We no fit get independence right now. It is not possible. The only chance for we for win this war, now for we for be able for win them with our own capacity, we not get that possibility for determine when we can have independence. This no be secret. La Republic know, the international community know, all our leaders they know. And I make some interview them with them, put them for outside, make una know way to way they think. We need to be careful how would it go forward, because our country, Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, if he end up like the story for Myanmar, if he end up like Mexico, where he go get insecurity them forever. Our forces them, because of this failure in unity, failure in coming together for a political solution, failure to be patriotic, the transformation into corrupt regimes and groups and organizations, the transformation of legitimate groups that seeks domination, that is even willing to kill soldiers and murder their political rivals. Our forces on the ground have evolved into independent groups that are working on their own, mostly influenced by the dynamic on the ground. There are forces that are collecting money, becoming so wealthy, and they have become so addicted that they may never stop fighting. They will never accept any solution. Even if it comes to independence, they will fight the person who is in power. They have become a problem to our community and a problem to our struggle. But these are a very minute amount of forces on the ground. Very minute. The vast majority of Ambazonian fighters are fighting for the legitimate right of our people to have independence. And they are doing so nobly. I must say that. Can we win this war now? It is not possible. Is it okay for me to tell you? Yes. Even the Ukraine, which is a state fighting the mighty Russian government, they come to every point where their president, their leaders tell them, this is the amount of support we have from America and the West. We cannot win Europe, win Russia. Based on this calculation, should we negotiate for our land and exchange for peace, or should we continue to fight? They make that announcement and they make that assessment together with everybody in their country, and Russia listens to everything and nothing happened. It is only in Ambazonia where the devil is working very hard, because the devil do not want light. So when they want to speak the truth, the devil will say, stay quiet, oh. You are talking the truth, you have become the problem. No, you are not the problem, you are the solution. Only light will help us to come out of this situation. The possibility of us having an international mediation like we had in Switzerland, like we had in Canada, do not longer exist and will not come again. The Americans are not interested in pushing for that line. They have told us that they will not support something that will not happen. The mistake that was made in the past, that was manipulated by France and the regime in Cameroon, because they were fighting their Makiza who were fighting them from Ambazonia. That decision to bring the two Cameroons, the Southern Cameroons and La Republic together, cannot be reversed now. It is not just visible. Cameroon is being supported by Russia and the BRIC, and to an extent facilitated by France and some of its Western partners. So where can we go other than ourselves? And when we look within ourselves, can we harness our capacity? No, we can first of all not unite, let alone harness our capacity to defeat La Republique. We have leaders who are fake people, who are impostors, misrepresenting themselves and their organization. Delusional people, some with mental illness. But we don't recognize them and we don't know, because data is cheap, Android phone is cheap, and everybody can say their own thing, and the population are confused. But listen to me, and listen to me carefully. I have represented our country to the best of my ability and represented to the highest level, more than anybody you can imagine. More than anybody you can imagine in this struggle, not in our history, of course. And I'm here to tell you, our people, that it is time for us to sit on the table and have a consensus that it is time for us to negotiate with La République du Cameroon. If we cannot get what we want, that will secure our border, our sovereignty, and give the right of our people to govern themselves, we will still continue to fight for a better option, and we will be in a better position to appeal to the international community to reconsider our case for us to have the type of negotiation we had in Canada. It is very important that our people know whether we can win the way it is or things need to change before we can win. We must be able to do that because that is the responsible thing to do. The solution I have pushed, this alternative solution for an autonomy, I have had engagement with some of our leaders who will not talk publicly but have still talked about the issue of federalism. My fellow Ambazonian, I cannot support a solution that is not realistic just for game. I cannot play games with you. Cameroon can never accept federalism because the French system that is in Cameroon that fits the monster in France do not federate. If there is anything we know and we have accepted in all our research is that Cameroon do not federate because it is part of the Francophonie and they will never federate. So it is useless. Anybody who is fighting for federalism is not a realistic person. You cannot have federalism with Cameroon. What we want is to be able to control our territory, govern our territory, and make sure Ambazonia can become an independent or a reality, if not today, in the future. Because if we do not secure independence for the future generations, we are going not just to lose this war, we are going to put our next generation in a position where they will not be able to even fight for independence. If we not appeal for negotiate with Cameroon now, if we not appeal to negotiate with La République du Cameroon as it is now, the international community who sees Ambazonia as a divided people who are the belligerent factions, the international community have come to a conclusion that all the Ambazonian groups do not represent the interests of our people. It is a hostage situation. And it is not just what the international community have assessed on the ground. It is the reality. Look at what happened in our country this Christmas Day. But before I talk about that, for our people to understand something, our enemy, primary enemy, our main enemy is La République and their government and their president who have made this personal choice to fight us and to subdue us for his own gain. He thinks that fighting us will make him to be strong in Cameroon and maintain his power. And for the past 7 years, Paul Biya and Cameroon, they thought that they will crush us and seal our place in the mindset of their people as a captured people, as a people that can remain silent forever, and send a message to all Cameroon that everybody should accept this occultic Bulu Beti regime that is there the same the way it is in Congo, the same it was in Togo and in other France-Afrique system where it is pure slavery. Just like they did with the Makiza, after they succeeded to kill Ernest Nwani, they transformed the whole Cameroon into the Mutongs. They thought that they would do that with Ambazonia, but for 7 years, they have failed to crush our spirit. For 7 years, our people are still resilient, they are still fighting back, and we are still demanding that we want freedom from Cameroon. But we should not be foolish, because as we pick up gun to fight Cameroon, we also start fighting ourselves within our camps. We must accept that as the reality. We are fighting ourselves. And majority of what we are doing is not to prove a point against the enemy. It is mainly to prove a point to ourselves. Very few of us, very few forces are focused on the enemy. Majority are focused on self-preservation and to fight to dominate others. I'll put out a second audio today to give you people a real reflection on the reality on the ground. Because most of our people who are in the diaspora and even some in various areas in Ground Zero do not really understand or believe the pain that have pushed a lot of people away from the struggle in the cities and even in the diaspora and even in ground zero in the village, in some village areas. I'm going to do that today. La République have failed to defeat us, but yet we must recognize that we have been fighting for 7 years. We have been unable to have a single international recognition. And from coming from a point where we had international solidarity, we now have the international community pushing us to tell us that what we were fighting for is not practical for the moment. There is no way the world is going to reverse the force union between us and La République du Cameroon. This is not because it was not possible. It is just simply that we are self-defeating with our own selfish ego that have dominated this struggle for the past 7 years. We are mindful of the suffering of our people in the hands of the Cameroon government during this war and the continuous suffering of our people. For the villages in Kwakwa, in Munya, in Akwaya, where the Cameroon burned village killed hundreds of our people, and the ones that have been murdered in farms that will never be recognized, will never be recorded, people whose children were disappeared in the initial stages of this war by the Cameroon military, those who disappeared in dungeons and those prisons that the B set up within quarters, killed by killing machines that were dressed in civilian wear, killing people randomly, targeting Cameroon, our Ambazonian males to kill them and assassinate them. They have killed and they have killed, exhausted all means of killing, and they are now killing in their rest within our territory. Villages that were traumatized with people who were killed for nothing. Mothers who were killed, like the woman in Dop who was cooking fufu, but his house was raided by the Cameroon army and killed because the daughter was dating an Ambazonian combatant. There are a lot of stories that I can tell you, from Garbu to Pinying massacre to Bebe Mata to Mami Apie. The list goes on and on, right to Samsoya. We are also inflicting violence on ourselves. We are doing so with excessive lockdown. We are doing so with kidnapping for ransom. Soldiers have become addictive, and all those type of things are going on. We must be very mindful of the suffering of our people. People can no longer visit their village because they are afraid of both the Cameroon army and our own soldiers. People cannot come from the diaspora to go back home and feed money in the economy like they used to do because they are also afraid of our own people. We must acknowledge that reality. It is mindful of all this suffering of our people that I, Capo Daniel, I took upon myself after considering meetings with the people within the network of my organization, that during this period of Christmas Day, a very big day in the whole world, very significant day, a day that is celebrated across all cultures, the day that people go to church to remember the nativity story, to celebrate the hope for peace, joy to the war, the Savior of earth have come. I took upon myself to declare a truce, to relieve our people from this pain and stop the killing on both sides, and to rejuvenate the quest for freedom, the quest for justice, and a negotiated settlement. On this day of high importance, all Ambazonian fighters had respected this truce. Nobody attacked anybody on this Christmas Day, except in Bamenda, where the ADF and Ayabacho have come to say that he was the one who asked that attack should happen. The ADF soldiers themselves have sent me audios of him encouraging people to sabotage that truce. They planted a bomb in T Junction in Bamenda. That bomb disturbed the peace of the city. 90% of our people wanted the truce. Our youths were happy. At Christmas Eve, they were allowed to use knockout without Cameroon government intervening. Ayabacho planted a bomb IED in T Junction that have led to the death of one civilian, not targeting the Cameroon army, but targeting the truce, targeting the peace of our people, targeting the spirit of Christmas to disturb the peace. It resulted with massive gunshot in all junctions, triggered feared Cameroon military. They reacted in that manner, and the rest is history. We also have a criminal gang, a gang attack that they tried to attack a bar in Makenene Bar there in New Road in Bamenda also, and we had one other incident in Victoria. Those are the 3 incidents that happened on that truce. But for the most part, our people went to churches, except in Bamenda where those church services were interrupted, and 90% of our people are in support of that truce and the spirit of Christmas. Ayabacho have proven himself to be an extremist and somebody that everybody should see as an extremist, somebody who is against justice and he's against peace. He had the chance to negotiate on behalf of Ambazonia. He sabotaged it because he wants to preserve his own position in a post-conflict area in our territory. You cannot force and intimidate people to stay at home. When you do that, you have created a hostage situation, and that does not reflect the will of the people. That is actually against the people. And eventually, people that will remain with Ayabacho will be considered as a matter of criminality, a matter of a violence against our own people, and a criminal problem, and no longer a legitimate problem that reflects the aspiration of our people or the political will for the people, which is a legitimate one. For all our people who are suffering in Bombongo, in Akwaya, in Dop, in Bui, in Widikum, they were all relieved that the massacre and attack and assassination of Ambazonian fighters when they returned back home to celebrate with their own children and their own families did not happen this year. This is the first year that we did not have any targeted killing on Christmas Day. And to that, I say hope alive. Christmas is a time for reflection. As Winston Churchill once said, it's a time for everybody to reflect. It's a time even for the Cameroon soldiers to go back to their country and their homes, or stay and also reflect about what we are doing and what they are doing. Having a truce or saying the things that I'm saying does not mean that we have given up the fight. As a matter of fact, we must intensify the fight, but we must do so with wisdom and in a way that will transmit the right message to the world, and that is going to result in a solution that will be beneficiary to our people. The only solution that will help us is dialogue, is through dialogue. We will fight until we have a just situation, but we must be ready to dialogue directly with La République du Cameroon, because that is what will require now. At this moment in history, there is not going to be any international mediation that will be possible unless we test this ground. Negotiating with La République does not mean we will surrender anything to them, but we must make our case. If we refuse to talk to Cameroon, our own enemy, why do you think the Americans will come and talk on our behalf to the Cameroon government? I have been in all the organizations. The AGOVC that you are talking about, I have been in their cabinet and in all their meetings, and I can testify to you that we had just 7 members in the cabinet. There is no need to tell you people what was happening in Ngumba House. But anybody that is hoping that somebody somewhere is working to bring you independence, and that person will bring you independence, that person is deceiving you. The devil come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. The hope and the peace that God alone and the justice will give. And they did so, they tried to do so on Christmas Day, and they will continue to try to do so. But the children of God, they say, the sheep knows the good shepherd, and they will follow the shepherd where he leads them, because they know he have their best interest at heart. We have to show to the world that we have the high moral grounds, and we are ready for dialogue, and we are ready for negotiation, and we are not obsessed about outright military victory, which they know we cannot achieve. The enemy knows, and everybody knows. Saying this thing does not mean that we cannot fight or we will not fight. We will continue to fight and encourage our soldiers to fight. But we will do so with an objective, guided by a purpose, and guided by the principle that puts Ambazonia first, the flag first, and our own people first. God bless you all, and have a wonderful week with a blessing and hope for freedom that can only come by divine intervention.